Hello and welcome to season 3 of Super Prose Bros. I'm player 1, Ike, and with me, as always, is.
Player 2, Eli, and Brewster Strudel. Do you know this podcast is on YouTube, SoundCloud, and Spotify?
You know, I did, Chef Boyardee, but are those the same places they could
Like,
comment
share?
and subscribe?
It sure is.
Man, I tell you, the internet is a fantastic place.
Sometimes.
So, what's been going on this week for you, my guy?
It's been a pretty quiet week. When's the last time we recorded?
I think it was last week, wasn't it?
Like, I think I talked about my bougie hotel stay, right?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, I think I did. Okay. This week has been quiet as fuck. Um, this is this has been a pretty banal week for me. The like I have been playing a bunch of Path of Exile, losing a bunch of money gambling, like virtual pixels gambling.
Mm-hmm.
The notable thing is I got myself to swim 2000 or like a 2K.
Woohoo!
And my body didn't like me for it. Uh, yeah, nah, and I've started reading my friend's book, which has been pretty good.
Ooh, which
Um,
book, which friend?
so it was the book that Leah published or self-published through like Amazon, and so I drove down a while ago and got a copy,
Hell yeah.
and started reading it. And so far I'm enjoying it. It's pretty good.
What's the name of the book?
It is Fearholt, Brotherhood of Ashes. I'll plug it later too. Spoilers. But yeah, otherwise I've just been workout, work, home, in that order, kind of on repeat. Go. I've had a pretty boring week. What about you?
Sorry, my whole entire computer is like having a moment here. What
From Rutro.
the fuck? It's fine. Just like I went to move something and all my windows closed. Uh, or minimized and closed. I was just like, what the fuck? Okay. So, I think last time we talked, I was literally going to meet a girl I've been spending infinite hours chatting with. Have since met up with her 3 times. They have all been amazing. And meeting up with her later this evening to finally get around to seeing Deadpool and Wolverine, or Deadpool 3, whatever it's technically called. So excited to finally get to see that. But yeah, she's awesome. She's listening to
Nice.
this. Hey there, Gator. And yeah, very excited, having a great time finding somebody that gets me fun to hang around with, talk anime, watch Game Grumps with, and do all the awesome boyfriendy stuff. I say boyfriendy because I don't know what technically this is yet.
Fair enough.
I know where it's headed, but I don't know what to technically call it. So, she is my friend girl. I am big fan. Like her boobies much. Anyway, other other things that happened this week on. So this is a tale of 2 days. On Tuesday, I come in and there's a kid trying to learn. I don't think I went over this last week, but if I did, I'm sorry because I'm going to say it again. There's a kid talking about percentages with a teacher, and the teacher's like, "Yeah, like a D6. If you roll it, what's the possible chance that you get a 6? 1 in 6. All right, now if you re-roll it, what's the chance? 1 in 6." And this kid's like, "Oh, but if you played Russian roulette and you did that,
You did talk about
I
this.
did talk about this. Damn it!"
Yeah. Sorry, hate to ruin your fun.
Uh, okay, did I talk about? I'm getting old. Did I talk about the gym incident?
Towel.
Damn it! Did I?
Are we just gonna go through a laundry list of
It's
shit
like
here?
not much on my list, but fuck!
It
Ah,
is okay if we had a boring week. It's a pretty short time between recordings for us.
uh, did I talk about
So
it?
help me God.
It's not. It's this is like the last one.
Okay.
Did I tell you about one of my coworkers making a very 420 decision?
I feel like you did, but I can't immediately place it, so proceed.
Okay. So the other day at work, it's winding down. It's the closing of the day. There's only like one or two kids there, and then the fire alarm goes off. Often, when a fire alarm goes off, it's because somebody is smoking or vaping in a bathroom. It's a sad
Okay.
reality of working in a high risk learning institution. Lots of kids cannot figure out how to walk around a corner to get high. It's hilarious. It's very silly. I don't fully understand it. But this day,
Sure.
it's like there's no kids. There's basically no kids on campus. So we all walk outside. We're like, what's going on? And then out of a like literally a puff of smoke comes out of the bathroom as one of our security guys leaves the bathroom. He's like, "What's the fire alarm going off?" We're like, "Bruh!" Like he was being very sincere. He had just taken a smoke break in the boys' bathroom.
Oy, oy, oy.
Just just chilling out for the rest of his day.
Oy, oy, oy.
The best part is he still works there.
Just like a little slap on the wrist, like, come on, dude. What the fuck
Yeah,
are we doing here?
it was great.
Incredible.
So other than that, I played a little Magic tournament yesterday and won a. So this is awesome and silly. For like, they're doing these things called like store championships, where Wizards of the Coast ships out like these really expensive promo cards that stores can use to incite people to come in and play a game. Awesome.
Sure.
This card that they have printed is one of the most, or that they have made a promo version of, is one of the most wordy cards and peculiarly worded cards that has ever existed in quite some time.
Okay.
And they made it textless.
Okay.
So there's this like
Seems a
yesterday
little suspect.
I won a $300 Magic card that like everybody forgets one of the lines of text usually at some point, or
Mhm.
specifically how it's worded, and it's just like wow, of all like I'm happy they printed this card because it's worth a lot and I can sell it, but it's just so funny because it's just like this is so stupid. What if we made a textless Magna Carta? That'd be good, right? Nobody needs to know all the words of that one. They might. But yeah, I guess other than that, yep. I guess I cleaned my room. I don't know if you've experienced this. I don't think I've talked about this if I said that I cleaned my room, but how much it's one of the changes that I feel like you know when you've become an adult in a way,
Hmm.
in that like growing up, even in my 20s, is like clean my room. I'm like, fine, I'll do it.
Yeah.
It felt like a chore. In my 30s, I'm like, oh, I get to clean my room. It's like an opportunity. I'm like excited. I'm
Hmm.
literally trying to. It's been hornswaggled as of yet, just given timing. But I have tried to leave room in my day to clean my room. It's
Hmm.
up there with as a litmus test of am I an adult or am I still a man child?
Yeah.
Is this one's a personal one for me. But when you get takeout from a restaurant and the bag's really nice, if you look at the bag and go, that's a nice bag, and you try to reason why you should keep it, even though it's just a fucking bag, I feel like that's how you know you're an adult is when you just look at the structural integrity and you admire it and you want to find a way to keep this bag, even though you definitely don't need it. I've had this moment with 3 of my friends who are much better at adulting than me, and like we've all like literally one time we jinxed each other. We went out and got takeout, and it came, and we like took the takeout. We both caught each other admiring the bag and said simultaneously, "It's a nice bag." It's just like it's
Oh
a
my God.
fucking takeout bag.
It's a bag, my guy.
It's a bag, but also like nice bag.
But I mean, it's a nice bag.
Exactly.
Oy,
It's
oy,
that
oy.
and making sure that you get like aggressively planning your best to get 8 hours of sleep and like wanting that more than another round or blah 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 is when you're just like somebody's like, hey, do you want to do this? You're like, I would, but
Like,
you're like, oh, you
but
got plans? You're like, yeah, with my fucking pillow, bruh. Like, like those are the 3 legs of adulting.
that's where it's like, all right, we have hit adulthood. We're
It's
doing
like
this.
that stupid episode of fucking How I Met Your Mother where they're like they're going through the when you've gone from it's like when you're how you can tell people are in a relationship versus not is the way they
Mm-hmm.
act at parties. Like if they're like not dancing, listening to music, they're checking their phone or this and that. It's just like, yeah, that's the change.
Yeah.
So what's the topic of discussion?
All right. So we we've grown up past some things. Speaking of adulting.
Mm,
So we're gonna talk about shit that it just doesn't make any fucking sense in movies.
just
And
don't
they
make
need
no
to grow up.
goddamn sense.
These things don't happen.
And a lot of this is like literally not like our opinion, it's like physics or like statistical
Yeah, it
laws of
just
humanity.
if you stop for 5 seconds and ask a subject matter expert or anything, they'll just go, "No, that's not how that works." So we've got a laundry list of stuff you see very common in movies, TV, that just no, that doesn't work.
So first up, since I just mentioned How I Met Your Mother, characters in sitcoms, specifically ones who complain about money, they're like in Friends, they're waiters, they're like, "Oh, I don't know how I'm going to pay this month's rent." While they're going out to eat and they live in an upper midtown loft in Manhattan proper. Bruh, how the fuck are you fiending for like you're like, oh no, I'm gonna pay my rent. Let me go out to eat and also live in the most expensive area. And also have a job that pays fuck all. I'm I'm like okay at math, and I don't even need to see the numbers to know that your fucking equation's bullshit.
Are
Like,
you dealing on the side or
yeah, it's so wild. Like my friend pays for rent in Queens and it's 3 grand a month for a 1 bedroom.
I say, and Manhattan is way
Way
more
more
expensive.
upscale. And they're like always downtown. Like they're in How I Met Your Mother, their apartment is above a bar in like the central city area. No. And like their house, like all their apartments are also nice as fuck. Like if you look at How I Met Your Mother and fucking Friends, their apartments are amazing. So those are all like multi-million dollar properties. Not like for rent, but like that's what they would cost to buy, which they obviously rent them. But the rent would be absurd.
You'd be
And
paying
all the
like,
jobs they have don't pay that.
yeah, like you'd be paying like minimum 3 to 4 grand a month.
Yeah,
Like, and that's a lot for rent.
it's a lot. Also,
That's a lot for
none of
rent.
those characters have ever made food at home. They always eat out every meal of
Yeah,
every day and they always go
that
to the bar every
that
night of
stacks
every
up
day.
quick. Like even
Yeah.
even before the gross inflation that has happened, like even if you know 10, 15 years ago were going out to eat every night and getting drinks with dinner, God, ha, ha, like that's a recipe for adding an extra $500 a week to your budget. Which, my wallet, please no.
Alright, so what you got up next on the old
All right.
docket?
So, as a connoisseur of hitting people and being hit in the face.
A connoisseur of conking, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
A
I like
connoisseur.
alliterative. Um, if you are ever hit hard enough that you go down, you have a concussion. Like now,
Congratulations.
congratulations, you have a concussion. Like if you've ever experienced getting your bell rung, you have a concussion. If you get, but most of the time, people who get hit hard, you'll go down for like a split second and you'll get back up, or you'll be like awake, cognitive, and be like, okay, shit. If you get hit hard enough that you're out cold and like you don't wake up immediately when someone touches you, uh, you have a
Wee-oo,
hemorrhage.
wee-oo, wee-oo.
Like that is go to the hospital. That is see a neurologist. That is like if you're out for like I think 60 seconds, that's problematic. If you're out for like an hour, you might just die. Like that isn't like a it's a quick debunking. The whole if you have a concussion, don't go to sleep, you'll die. That's stupid. That's nonsense.
Yeah.
That's absolute horseshit. But if you are just
Sleep is not danger zone.
sleep is not dangerous. If you were knocked unconscious for multiple hours at a time, you might just be in a coma. Like, yeah, but if you go down hard enough that you are unresponsive, holy shit, take that person to a hospital. They have brain trauma. Like, that's not like I got hit in the face. That's like you have a TBI. Like, that is potentially a life altering injury. Oh my god.
Rampage, what are
Get
you
them help.
doing here?
Yeah. Well, he's not unconscious. That guy has a concussion. His bell got rung. is Butterbean okay? Alright, what's next?
So next up, we have everybody's action film favorite, grenades creating fireballs. Throw the grenade, it'll make a dragon appear. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Grenades, if you see any actual combat footage or any of the kind of realistic footage you see in like movies like 1917 or anything like that, it goes hold on, I don't know if the read capture got that. It goes that's all it does. It is
puff of smoke.
It's a puff of smoke with flying metal. It's dangerous, it's scary, but also like the reason people say get down when a grenade happens is because the way that everything goes, talking to a military friend of ours, if the lower you are, the more likely it's to go over your head, and you want to face your helmet towards it so that the bits of debris that it does shoot hit that first.
Yeah,
that's the idea.
You have less surface area to get riddled by shrapnel.
Yep. It does not create a fireball. You don't need a suit. You don't need petroleum jelly. You're gonna be fine. Don't worry about if you're the Hound. You don't have to worry about grenades. You just have to worry about your brother. All right. Well,
speaking of things going ablaze, not every helicopter explodes.
What?
I know. They can just crash and, crumple and not combust. Like just because it hits the side of a building, its propeller cuts into glass. Oh my god, it's gonna blow. Like it's not.
Wait, they don't all have C4 underneath the pilot?
Yeah, like it's not like it's got fucking dynamite in the backseat. Like what are we talking about? Like it's not just.
I thought they ran off rocket fuel. Isn't that stuff like basically liquid bomb?
It's just got tanks of liquid oxygen on the back. No, a bunch of fireworks. Who knows? But no, like it's not. They don't just explode. Like they're not. They are not a guaranteed fireball the second there's the slightest problem. Like
everybody get out of the helicopter. It's turned into a bomb.
Yeah, this isn't Speed. Like what?
Well, while we're kind of on the same topic, cars also not bombs on wheels.
Just because it is
the
a fuel
amount
tank.
of movies that somebody turns around and takes 2 shots at a car and just goes it's not how gasoline works. That's not how bullets work.
Yeah.
It's not how cars work. None of this is true. And this leads to one of my favorite ones in the fantastic film that is was it not hold on one second. I'm coming up. What's
I
it
don't know what
called?
you're going for, so I can't help.
Oh, 22 Jump Street. I could remember the Jump Street part. I knew there was
Okay.
numbers, but I forgot where. So in 22 Jump Street, they're taking this one. That series is awesome with Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum. Fucking amazing.
It was pretty
Highly
great.
recommend both those movies if you haven't seen them. They're very good on their own and as meta commentaries on the action and cop um, genre in general.
Yeah.
But in the second one, they're doing this driving shootout and shooting at cars, and like none of them are exploding. And then there's like
It's like
a
a
vehicle with
chicken.
chickens that gets like run into and just fucking boom. It's like, yeah, that's awesome. That's as correct. Also, I think there's like some oddly historical precedent of that occurring at least once, where like some guy's chicken vehicle, or like he was transporting chickens, and the feces plus something did end up equaling an explosion. So that's like based off of a real absurdist event, which is extra great. But yeah, shooting a car doesn't make it go kaboom. It makes it go broom putt putt because you probably shot through the engine block and it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, just gasoline isn't by default explosive. It has to mix with air to be explosive,
Yeah,
for the record.
it
Um,
needs a decent amount of exposure to air too, right? It's not just like
it's a fair amount. The only other way that you can make a car explode is if you were to puncture a hole
put
in
a
its fuel
bomb in
tank
it.
or put a bomb in it. Like, the only way you could manufacture a car to explode is if you put a slight fuel leak and then lit that fuel line and it slipped into the tank and created a pressure.
Yeah.
That's the only way. That's pretty much it. Unless you are directly firing into the fuel tank and get a spark that ignites the fuel and then you get the pressure explosion. But like, that just doesn't happen by default.
Yeah, it's not a
Also,
guarantee.
that doesn't happen from you shooting the front of the car where the engine is. That's not where the fuel tank is.
Also, it's not guaranteed to make a spark, right?
No, I mean, that it depends on what like the fuel tank is constructed out of. Like,
Yeah.
most like commercial vehicle, or not commercial, um like day-to-day use vehicles don't have a steel fuel tank.
Yeah, so it's
Commercial
less.
vehicles will.
Yeah,
So like, if like on a semi truck, sure, because they're big fucking fuel drums, but like on a fucking sedan, no.
yeah.
Like,
Grandma's not driving a bomb, is that what you're saying?
yeah, exactly. Like, grandma's Volvo isn't guaranteed to combust if a firefight starts. Um, all right. So, speaking of emergency situations, um, if someone has a flatline, if their heart has quit beating, you could use all of the juice from a nuclear power plant in those paddles. You will you will do nothing.
Except turn them into a
Yeah,
zombie.
except blow their chest cavity apart.
Prostitute!
So 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 a myocardial infarct or a heart attack um does not happen instantaneously. Like, it takes one.
What?
Yeah, I know. Like, there have been people who have like, they have basically had it coming for like hours, and they're like, something feels weird. It's because their heart's just kind of giving out slowly.
Hmm.
Like, something basically goes wrong with the rhythm of your heart. So when your heart is going down but isn't stopped yet,
It's,
that's
go-
when the
it's
AED.
going down.
Yeah, like, so an AED will, if you use like the automated ones, or you have somebody with like a stethoscope, or they put you on like an EKG, and they go,
Hmm.
oh, this is a wrong rhythm. This is a problem, which it is a huge problem. That's when you shock it and you try and reset the rhythm so you get back into a standard ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. Cool. When you have stopped the rhythm
Sorry.
entirely,
Into a standard what?
ba-dum, 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 ba-dum.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
No problem, buddy. When when you have stopped it entirely, when your heart is when you're dead fucking flat, no, there is no rhythm to reset. That's what chest compressions, chest compressions, chest compressions, chest compressions, because you're manually pumping the heart. That's why you do it. Also, if you're going to do something chemically about it, you pump them full of adrenaline. That's what a big epinephrine syringe is for. You basically juice the heart the old-fashioned way and make it go. You can electrocute it all you want. You can fucking call in Zeus and it won't do anything.
Hey, Z buddy!
Yeah, I like Dr. Mike is a YouTube channel, and that is one of his biggest criticisms of any media portrayal. He's like, "What are you doing? Chest compressions."
Yeah,
And he's
he
so
like
right.
literally just goes chest compressions, chest compressions, chest
Yeah, like
compressions.
if you don't have a thing of epinephrine on hand and they're flatlining, all you can do is chest compressions and hope the body figures itself out because it can, or someone better be sprinting to a hospital to grab you a thing of epinephrine. Anyway,
This is what you need.
yeah.
So one of my favorite ones of all time, action movie wise, and this happens in more than this, but this is like the most
This
egregious
is the most
one.
egregious
It's
example.
True Lies, and it's dropping a gun and having it shoot. Jamie Lee Curtis, in her awesome adorableness in this movie, drops an Uzi, which rolls downstairs, firing rounds perfectly to kill a bunch of bad guys. Awesome, love
It's
it.
hilarious.
Also, not even close to real. I think we've talked about this literally on the show before. Gun manufacturers have this thing called wanting their weapon to work exactly how it's intended and not in any other circumstance,
Yeah, they want
if
to
not
limit
for
misfires.
lawsuits. Because otherwise, if that worked, delivering guns would be terrifying. Driving this thing and hitting a bump, being like, oh no, and turning around to see the minivan behind the truck just dead. Like, it's not what they're trying to do.
Going through a parking lot with speed bumps. Fucking
Just-
Mission Impossible music starts playing.
Yeah, they basically only work when you pull the trigger or incidentally pull the trigger. Like, pressure needs to be applied to that mechanism, whether through the trigger or through the manual, like, because the trigger is pulling on something else. So if you're like, and this has happened before, somebody's cleaning their gun, didn't remove the ammo like a fucking moron. Sorry, but come on. It's literally, if you go to a gun safety thing, they say
Remove the
literally
magazine, clean the chamber.
clean the chamber,
Clear the chamber.
clear the chamber. All ammunition should be stored separately is the thing, like one of the earliest things they say in gun safety. It is for this reason. So this cannot accidentally happen.
Yep.
And so, is that your cat?
Yeah, it's just having a moment.
Is she coughing or sneezing?
She's trying to sort what might be a hairball. Come on. So there you go. There you go.
This episode brought to you by hairballs. But yeah, so like there are people, this will happen when people are cleaning their guns, and I'm presuming it's because they're cleaning their gun, they're going through, giving a rub down to all the good little bits, and then they hit that mechanism and forgot there was a bullet in there,
Yeah,
and it
I
fires.
accidentally trip a firing pin,
Yep.
didn't clear the chamber. Boom.
So yeah, guns don't do that. People do that. Guns don't do that.
Yeah.
What else do people do?
People love jumping punches. People love the fucking Superman punch where you like jump, lean forward, throw an arm. Like people love it as this optical orgasm of a KO punch.
KO.
Yeah, like there's a couple examples I can think of. Like Daredevil loved it. Like the Netflix show Daredevil loved doing it. It's not
GSP.
hard, huh?
GSP.
GSP did it for the right reasons.
What are the
Don't
right
get into.
reasons?
So the first thing is that punch is weak. The punch is infamously weak. It has no oomph behind it. If I'm ever telling somebody how to punch somebody, a good punch does not come from your arms. It comes from your ass. It's really
Use your ass,
though.
Rock.
Yeah, like the idea is you want as much hip to move, which means you can impart as much spin on your shoulders, which gives you more weight behind it. Because your arms weigh approximately like 10 pounds. If you're like a grown adult male, your arms will weigh somewhere between 10 to 15 pounds. They just don't have a ton of fucking mass to them. So if you're just hitting with your arms, just based on how momentum and inertia work, you are super gimping yourself if you're just hitting with a 15-pound piece of meat versus if you can put your whole weight behind it, 150 pounds. That's a factor of 10. It's crazy. So by the second your feet come off the fucking floor, you can't push. You can't turn your hips. You can't impart that force because you don't have anything to push against. So it is no power to it. The only reason it is at all useful is to close distance because
Mm.
most people don't expect you to jump at them. And so it covers you on going forward, and it usually will push people backwards. Like GSP would do it to push people into the cage, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah, but he never did. Like you can watch any GSP fight; he does not knock anybody out with that.
Oh no,
He
no.
will do it and quickly combo into something else. Like he'll do it, keep trading, and look for a takedown. He'll do it, or just push him into the fucking ring or into the wall and just keep teeing off. But he doesn't stop there. The fight doesn't end there.
It's not
It never
his.
ends there. The
But
only
in
way it could
movies,
end there
it
is if
always
they
ends
like
there.
turned their temple and ran into your fist. They'd have to help.
Hey, buddy.
Dude, do me
Yeah.
a solid.
Do
I
me
want
a
this to look
solid.
cool.
Lean into it.
Yeah. Like,
So one thing I cannot abide leaning into, it's awesome, it's in every movie, but it's just I can't stand it. Is
mhm.
people chatting after a shootout when nobody's wearing ear protection. I
Well,
don't know if you've ever been to a shooting range, but even with ear protection, that shit's
guns
loud
are
as
loud.
fuck. Like last time I went shooting was wearing 2 pieces of ear protection and 2 takeaways. Still real fucking loud.
Mhm.
And also, this is something that is kind of ties in with this in a different way, is people shooting guns in rooms. The overpressure, not only on your ears, but the amount you can feel it in the room is wild, for
Mhm.
starters. But like that does something. In like being in a closed room and having a shootout
Mhm.
would be another kind of deafening.
Yeah.
It's just it's gonna fuck you up. And people, the amount of people, and I love it. It's in every good action movie, but there's like boom, 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 boom. So you think of cheeseburgers instead of being like, "Hey,
Burger King.
what? I didn't fuck your mom. What?
Yeah.
You can't hear them.
Wop. Wop.
Mop meep." It's all walking around sounding like Beaker from fucking
Yep.
like that's what it is though. Like, and a couple shows have
Yeah.
gotten around to it. A couple movies have, shown people wearing hearing protection. Like one of the good ones, one they we're referencing, they do play it tongue in cheek with Archer with tinnitus, which is I do appreciate they at least nod at it, especially it's
Yeah.
given an action movie. It's something we should have said earlier. We are not saying that these are bad. We're saying that these are silly. So okay, some of these are bad. The whole flatlining thing is actually just bad because there's no reason for them to not show the proper procedure
It's
there.
not like you can't make it dramatic
Yeah,
with like hitting someone with an adrenaline syringe and having them sit up and yell. Like, come on, you can
yeah,
still have crazy shit with this.
yeah. Like
Like,
that one can. I don't understand the reason like what they don't use the correct one other than everybody because
every,
of old
everybody loves
movies.
yelling clear. Like,
I think that, but also I think it's just become people have been informed by television and it's such a mainstay that everybody expects it. So
yeah,
when somebody like Quentin Tarantino or somebody, I'm trying to think, there's somebody else that did it correctly. Oh, I think it's The Deep with the James Cameron movie where they're trying to revive her at the end and he's just doing a shit ton like slaps her, which is ridiculous. But he does a shit ton of chest compressions. Fight, bitch! You never gave up on anything in your life. Like that scene for anybody that doesn't
okay,
know. Uh, but I mean, like those are the only ones I can think of where somebody actually did it close to correctly, and those are still like they have moments where they're lacking. But that is the right way to do it. A lot of these action ones, it makes sense why you would want a cool shootout. Like action movies themselves are absurd. We know we're making fun of something that is in itself not meant to be taken too seriously,
yeah,
but also Yeah, this is like not how shit works.
That's not how it works. Yeah. Listen, we can divorce entertainment from reality, but also it's fun to poke fun at things that just like,
Yeah.
no, no.
And some of these are some of these are things that you do need to know, and since you have been informed by television like we have, we're letting you know. Your friend's flatlining, start giving them chest compressions. Don't look for paddles. Don't
Chest compressions, chest compressions, chest compressions.
listen to the man. All right, what you got up next, person, Kasky?
Speaking of things that are overblown and we have been gaslit as a culture, sharks don't give a fuck about you.
Nope.
No, there is a reason that more people get flatlined every year by vending machines than sharks.
Yep. I think it's
Because
like there's what like so it's
I think it's like,
reported not necessarily all, but I think it's like what 5 to 10 a year shark attacks globally, and like
if
1.5 deaths at most.
yeah, it's something like that. It's insanely low. Like
Again, this is reported. There might be people in like the East Indian
really
Ocean
remote
don't know
areas,
about.
or it doesn't get reported or gets misattributed, but like, moral of the story, it's really low, and it's
Yeah.
definitely lower than like the 25 people a year that get flattened because they don't accept that the vending machine didn't give them a soda.
They stole my $2.
Yeah, like, and yes, that's an actual statistic. More people die from vending machines falling on them than shark attacks. Let that one sink in.
Yeah,
Yeah. The, tr-
multiplicatively.
the truth is, sharks don't give a shit about you. Sharks don't go hunting that much as they just eat all the dead shit. Like, sharks, and this is the best metaphor ever, they are the garbage disposal of the ocean. Like, they will just, they kind of like hyenas will just clear up dead shit. And vultures, they'll clear up dead stuff. Like, oh, big whale carcass? Awesome. Lunch. Like,
Yeah, it's
they will go hunting, but they'll usually hunt things that are big enough that it justifies the calories they spend. You are not big enough.
yeah. I think the only reason that they mostly attack humans is if crazy hungry, somehow feel aggression, or if you look like a seal, which is like why surfing occasionally has been problematic in certain areas. Because if I understand correctly, seals are an attempted easy kill, like they come from the bottom up. Seal can't see them. They
Yeah.
potentially just snag them, and so like the amount of calorie, like all they're doing is like swimming in one angle, and then if they miss, they fuck off with it. Like they don't chase the seal, is my understanding from that point.
I believe it. I don't know 100%. But yeah, like, you are too small and too bony. Like, you don't have enough fat tissue because fat is very calorically dense. Like, you don't have, you're not, you aren't enough calories. You aren't a big enough snack to care. Like,
Yeah,
you're just not. There are just easier meals than you because you might swim away. You're weird. I don't know if you're worth it, but I know that big fat fuck over there is absolutely worth it. I'm gonna go eat that whale.
which is kind of surprising and shows how much sharks don't think. Because if sharks realized how much of their people we killed each year, each second,
Oh, they would hunt us
yeah, they would try to
mercilessly,
hunt
and we
us.
totally deserve it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Also, sharks are alarmingly intelligent, actually, which is kind of
really?
crazy. Yeah.
Huh.
Well, like, not alarmingly intelligent, but like, they're smarter than you think, and they're also friendly, which is kind of adorable. Like, they'll hunt with friends
Mm-hmm.
for years. Like, there was apparently a
Oh,
study done that showed like two sharks, and they tagged them, and they hunted together for 6 years. They hunted
oh,
the whole duration of this longitudinal study. They never quit hunting together.
oh.
Yeah, it's like they weren't like a mating pair. They were just dudes. They're just chillies. They're just homies. Fucking hunting.
Bro shark do 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 bro
No.
shark.
Go.
Okay.
Anything else? Stop.
So something that will stop your bullet is a metal lock. Don't shoot those. It doesn't fucking work. The amount of movies where somebody's like, I need to get into this thing, but oh my god, a fucking master lock. Fuck. And somebody pulls out a pistol, like, boom. Easy, you dumb idiot. No. That's an easy way to get shot by your own gun. Like, that's not the way that works. That metal is pretty fucking hard. Bullets are not meant to snap metal. Or at least not the bullet that's coming out of the gun you have on your hip.
No.
That's like if you needed they call them breacher weapons for a reason, It's because those weapons are meant to breach and they are very high caliber and they're very high power. Usually shotguns, sometimes rifles, but they pack a wallop, like an
Yep.
unnatural wallop, and they are meant to take down those things.
Yeah,
Talking a shotgun with a slug or a shotgun with a very
yeah,
heavy
those are
density.
designed to hit metal.
Yeah, designed to hit metal, they apply a lot of force in a lot of area. A 45 caliber pistol ain't doing it. It's sending the bullet back to you or keeping it. One of those you prefer over the other for the record.
Yeah.
But this idea of just like, I remember, okay. So I had a family friend growing up, went out shooting once because we lived in Nevada, and that's what you do for boredom. And we're out here shooting rifles and shit. And through a weird series of events, the truck we had gone out and got stuck in the sand because we lived in the middle of nowhere, Nevada. And there's just infinite sand.
There's a lot of sand.
Lots of dunes to buggy. So we're trying to figure out how to get out of here. What do we do? And I, being my genius, like 13-year-old self, was like, oh, there's chains down there. If we get the chains, we can do this. He's like, well, I mean, it's bolted to that piece of like driftwood. We're not going to bring it up here. I was like, well, what if we shot it with the rifle? And the guy just looked at me and then looked at his son, who I was friends with, like, God damn it, pick better friends. And then it was like, no. And then I was like, why not? He's like, well, I don't want anybody to die. And I was like, what?
Outstanding.
And then this was, we had a 30-06 and he's saying that. And he would not entertain the idea. Like we were at a distance. He could have shot it for fun and been like, see, but he was like so sure as a man in the military. He's like, that's not going to fucking work.
Was that, I'm gonna guess it was like Butcher?
No, this was Kevin. I don't know if you
Okay.
remember him. This was his dad.
I do remember Kevin.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Good stuff. Good times. Just like our next bit, which is
So we mentioned concussions earlier. Concussions accumulate, by the way.
fun. Catch them all? Pokemon?
You don't want to. So trauma in general to your body kind of builds. If you don't get time to heal and rest, well, it just keeps stacking up. And it's exhausting. It's debilitating. Rocky is the biggest offender of this ever. Where he just gets abused. And like, listen, you can make the argument about having an iron jaw and all this shit. And the more you take, the less iron that jaw becomes. Just it pretty quickly turns to fucking porcelain. Like, and as somebody who has been beaten for a while, you just get tired and you get dumb. Like, if you have those little moments of lucidity, they're super fleeting. They are really short-lived. I say this from experience. Like, in my whole black belt test, I remember having one surge of adrenaline over 45 minutes of getting my ass beaten. I had one moment where I'm like, no! I had one fucking surge of strength for about 30 seconds. The rest of the time sucked. It
was that the moment where you
awful.
punched that annoying bitch in the face?
No, it was when no, that I was still pretty clear headed because I was right at the start. No, that was grappling when the like Destiny came in and I'm like, I will not be tapped out by this bitch. It's like, no, I will no. This is my line in the sand.
No.
Yeah. But like that was it. That was it. The rest of the time it's just like, oh fuck. Oh Jesus. Oh God. Okay. Like yeah. So just the more beaten you get, the dumber, the less coordinated, the more tired. You don't just shrug it off. It hurts. It sucks.
You don't just Super Saiyan your way out of it.
No, you don't just fucking go beyond plus ultra and forget that you hurt. That's not how reality land works.
Well, speaking of reality land, I don't know. Have you ever run into this situation? You're walking around, you need a ride, you don't have a car for some reason,
Mm-hmm.
and you just walk up to a vehicle, the
Mm-hmm.
door's unlocked, you sit down,
Naturally,
yeah, as they all are,
as they do.
you pull down the visor because obviously that's where the keys are located and they fall into your lap. Has this ever happened to you or a loved one? No, it's happened to fucking nobody. But yet, in like at least a dozen movies and TV shows, this is a thing of not a friend's car who's leaving it there for you and trusted all of his neighbors for a fucking city mile. Like, what? I don't know where the fuck this idea came from. What Canadian city, township did this like fucking matriculate from? It's just such nonsense, and it's in an astounding amount of 80s movies. It's just so weird that it sit down is like, oh neat. It's like, what?
The only thing I can think of that I've heard of recently is there is like a town um way up north in either Alaska or Canada where it is common practice to leave your car unlocked if you're going out of town
So like
so
bears,
that if,
right?
so people get jumped by a polar bear, they can jump into your car to hide.
Yeah.
It's like a civil courtesy. It's like to basically give somebody a metal panic room.
Not that it's necessarily going to stop a polar bear.
No, but at least you can try.
Yeah.
Like at least you become not accessible enough to be worth it.
Yeah.
Like that's
Maybe
the
the
hope.
horn will scare him for a brief second. I don't
Yeah.
know.
But that is the only thing I've heard of where it's like leave your car unlocked for people. But like
Yeah.
even then, you're probably not leaving the keys.
Yeah.
Like
Probably not leaving the keys. And if you are, this is a tiny town in a very specific area for that thing. The
yeah,
amount of times that this happens in suburban America, where 1,000% kids are running around going to do dumb shit, and no one would ever do this in
no,
any year.
no.
Like, I don't think people did this when Model Ts were a thing. Like, there was no doors. Oh gosh, take this away from me, please. What's up
Okay.
next?
Um, people don't know everything. Um,
What?
crazy. I know. So, and as much as doctors are trained professionals, there's a lot of shit that goes on in the human body, and there's a lot of things that can be very wrong with it. There's a lot of weird garbage out there. They don't know all of it offhand. They don't go, oh, look at these symptoms. You have this. Like, listen, I like House. I enjoy the show, minus to the point where it got stupid, like we talked about last time. But motherfucker just knows some dumb shit. Like, not he just knows shit
Just the
that you
most
would have.
esoteric knowledge
Yeah, just like
possible.
the most like when you know things that see 2 cases a year, two, two, two in 360 million people in this fucking country, 2 cases. There are more lottery winners. There are very few categories where there are more lottery winners, where you are statistically more probable to win the lottery. Like, it's a very niche category. And for you to just offhand be like, oh, yeah, it's this. Why do you know this? What the fuck? Like, look it up. There are journals. There is Google, WebMD, something.
Yeah, it would be nice to see. I understand why they do it. It makes us believe in doctors more. It seems cooler. But it would also be like really nice to see that like, yeah, doctors have to do their homework too.
Yeah.
Shut up and study.
And
Like
like,
it's okay to Google shit. That's fine.
yeah, like most doctors. So I did have one talk with a doctor about House.
Hmm.
He's like, there's kind of an idea if you're in like especially in like clinics
Hmm.
that there's horses and zebras, right? Like horses are gonna be your standard thing, which is what it's gonna be 95% of the time. Like if you have somebody come in with a fucking cough and a bit of a fever, it's like okay, that's probably an upper respiratory infection, maybe bronchitis, or like influenza. Like there's three very standard. Like it's probably one of these. That's 95% of cases. The other 5% is some wackadoodle shit that you just don't see often.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't test for that out at the gate. You don't think about that out the gate because it probably isn't that. Like knowing every zebra offhand or assuming it's the zebra offhand is just stupid. It is an incorrect way to do medicine.
So there's a this is going to take a brief aside and it just randomly made me think about it. So I used to think for the longest time playing Magic that like at
Hmm.
the top end of things, oh my god, these people are like seeing through the matrix. They're playing so far above the rim. I have to be special to win. And then it was probably in the last while I started really watching the best players play that sometimes they have moments where they go above the rim. But like you're saying, 95, even a higher percentage of the time, the best players at the arguably the most difficult game are
Hmm.
just not looking to make mistakes. In the same way that medical professionals are looking to like they go by the book.
Yeah,
The best people at the most complicated game are just playing by the book as fuck and
yeah,
occasionally, like very seldomly have moments of brilliance.
yeah.
But by and large, it's just
Just
yeah,
make less mistakes.
yeah, just don't make mistakes. That's the key to success. Being a good medical professional is just doing the thing that you think it is. Because if everybody was trying to be Dr. House, nobody would get rid of the common cold.
People would just die.
Yeah, they'd be dying
Like
of the flu. It's like it can't be the flu. Also, it can't be fucking what
it's
is it?
never lupus.
It's never lupus. From one obnoxious thing to another, my next category, and this one might be the one I go on at length or get the most freaked out about.
I'm leaning back in my
Yeah,
chair.
I would turn down the volume just a little bit because I'm going to
No,
talk
it's gonna
about
get
poker for a
heated.
second. So, to give myself a little bit of credibility before I'm not just saying this, dealt for over 15 years, played for part of my income for a couple of those years as well. I have a decent, I'm not the best, but I am damn close to the best person you're going to get when it comes to being a expert on poker.
Man is several standard deviations above the mean in terms of poker acumen.
Yes, especially when it comes to the way the game is dealt. So, when I tell you that what you see when you watch basically I think any poker movie ever is just fucking nonsense. What like when we're talking about like it's up there with the medical shows where they talk about diseases, it's not a even remotely realistic version of reality. You know, the diagnosis you see in medical shows are just nuts. Nobody would think that way. Same in poker. These hands are absurd. Do they exist? Do they happen? Yeah, of course. I've seen weird shit. But like every hand is like that? The fuck? Also, the bet sizing is bananas. So there are a lot of good math theory. In fact, poker has sadly become too much math to be interesting at this point. People are using like programs and solvers to like be to out better each other, which is cool from the nerdiest perspective, but dumb from the realistic perspective, where
Sure,
people are just like effectively remembering percentages and ranges and then playing accordingly. It has gotten very robotic and kind of silly in my estimation, but y'all live your best nerd lifestyle at perspective.
fair enough.
But so much of the time, the hands that you see at the end of tournaments and just in general aren't great. They're like a pair, two pair. They're just like fucking going off. The last hand, the one of my biggest pet peeves is the last hand, especially because they hired like experts to give them input on this. The movie Casino Royale, great in many ways. Love Daniel Craig, love the setting, love all of that. Love Mads Mikkelsen as the villain. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
The poker in that movie, dear God, the poker in that movie. All the hands are fucking crazy where people are dealing with the 0.1% of ranges where like he like talks about how he saw a tell and should have folded when he had a full house and the other guy had like four of a kind or some nonsense. It's like, no, you're never folding there. That's just not a thing.
In what world are you folding a full house?
Stop it. There's that bullshit. There the bet sizing in like Rounders, I know it's an older movie, again, had experts, but he's like they're like betting these absurd amounts of money that don't make sense and leave you just like I think at one point Teddy KGB sticks in half of his stack and then folds. And like there's just like these numbers that don't make any sense. There it would be the equivalent of talking to a fucking kindergartner about how much money they're gonna make. They'd be like, a bajillion million zillion dollars. You're like, that's not a number. They're like, to me it is. You're like, all right, fucking neat, awesome. It's like when they're betting, they're like 500 bajillion million. They're like, oh, you can't bet that. I raise 100 bajillion million. They're like, oh man, I have to fold now. It's like, what's happening? You guys are just out here making shit up. It's just so absurd. And then there's the fact that in Casino Royale, this one still haunts me. I can't believe I didn't recognize it. Credit to the movie. They had me invested enough that I didn't notice this until years later. When players go all in, so in the final hand, there's like a 5-way all in, which is just a like cartoonish nonsense given the hand setup. The deck is rigged. It's so stupid. God wanted Daniel Craig to win that hand so goddamn bad, and knock everybody out all at the same time is just absurd. So when that happens, there are I think there's like 4 players that go all in. There's a guy that has 100,000. I'm going to come up with numbers that aren't real. There's a guy that has 1 million. There's a guy that has 2 million. Mads Mikkelsen has 5 million. Daniel Craig has 7 million. So what would happen is, if you're a really good dealer, you wouldn't make any side pots. You would do it afterwards. If you were an okay dealer, you would make side pots. They don't do that. Sure, whatever. However, the way hands are revealed in poker is whoever had the most money reveals their hand first. Because if they win the pot, they get everything. Because you can only get paid for the money you have, which also, small point to that in a second. So the person that has 5 million can win 5 million from Daniel Craig and can win the other 2 person's pot. The person that has 1 million can only get 1 million from each of the other guys. So he doesn't need to reveal his hand yet, because that's not the way poker is done. Like, just like you wouldn't. It would be like.
I should know that.
Yeah. It doesn't come up, and like you only need to know that if you're a poker dealer. A lot of players are kind of like middling on that knowledge, oddly enough. So it would go the way the hand should have been revealed, which would have been anticlimactic, I totally understand, but it would have been Daniel Craig and Mads Mikkelsen reveal their hand because they both have the most amount of money. Instead, they do it backwards, which is for a ramping procedure really cool. Also, now that I reminded myself of this, in older movies, and still oddly, people think this way now because last one I dealt, I was hearing people do this, and it's fucking hilarious. You get one opportunity when it's your turn to make a decision. So if I bet $100,000 and it comes to Eli, if he goes call, the next thing he says doesn't matter. To wit, there are old movies and still newish movies where they go, I call and I raise. No, you fucking don't. You called. The end. You want to raise? Say raise. Don't say call and raise. This isn't the 1800s. Nobody talks like that. I don't know if they even talked like that then, but 1,000% a dealer is going to lock you in on that and you're going to look like a buffoon. So don't do that. It's not how it fucking works. Just say whatever you're going to do. Don't go, I'll do this and this. You're not a Southern lawyer. That's not how this plays out. Stop it. All right, I think I'm done ranting for the moment.
We let off enough steam here.
It's enough. I've been fully deflated for the moment. So before I figure out how to blow myself back up, moving on.
All right. This is a bit of a technical gripe because I got exposed to it because Artemis spent a decent amount of time in biohazard suits.
Kinky.
They're almost always no. Bro, that's like the opposite of a kink suit. That is an inaccessible suit. That
There's someone out there who's like, I find him sexy.
Good luck.
2319. Right.
Okay, so biohazard suits. The whole purpose is that nothing can get in, which means they need 2 things. 1, they need to be completely insulated. 2, they need an air supply. Because if you can breathe the fucking air, something's getting into your suit. There are so many shows where people and okay, option C, if you don't have an air supply and your suit is airtight, you have 2 minutes of air. And then you're gonna be breathing your own like
Farts.
you're breathing your own CO2, you're passed the fuck out. Like so you have two options. One, you have an air tank, and that gives you about 2 hours. Or two, and one of the movies that actually does it right, very deliberately, and the movie is great for in terms of medical accuracy, was Contagion,
Mm-hmm.
where they
It's like a
are
hose.
linked to, huh?
It's like a hose.
Yes, exactly. It's like a hose on a track in the ceiling that is hooked to an external air supply and it allows you to move around the room and basically gives you unlimited time in your suit. You don't want to be because your suit does still fill up with carbon dioxide and it gets uncomfortable, but it gives you a lot of time. Those are pretty much your two options. So anytime you see like people that have like the fucking air packs or whatever on their back is nonsense. Those don't exist. Um, like you need a completely insulated air supply. It can't be exposed to the outside. The idea of like a rebreather doesn't exist either. We can't. There's nothing that reprocesses CO2 into breathable oxygen, so that's out. Um, if you're doing like future sci-fi, I'll give you a pass. But if you're doing fucking 2000s era shit, no.
Yeah.
Um, Also, if you're illuminating, the biggest example. So this is another weird nitpick. If you're illuminating because you're going into a dark space, you want a flashlight on your shoulder. Don't put it in your helmet. You are wearing a big plastic screen. You know what light does on the inside of plastic? It reflects.
My eyes!
Yeah, so you're just washing out whatever you might try to see. So, like, Stranger Things is the biggest, most egregious offender of this principle. He's got, like, a flashlight on the inside of his helmet that's not even pointing out. It's just lighting up his face like an asshole. It's like you just wouldn't see shit. So, biohazard suits are so seldom done right. They're just always wrong. Make it make sense. Or the other one that like the weird one you'll see that's actually correct, by the way, if you see tape on the biohazard suit. So like especially around your ankles,
Mm-hmm.
because you have to put on shoes. So what you'll do is you'll like put the suit on and you will put effectively the leg of the suit over your boots and you'll tape it to seal it. And if you have to wear gloves, same kind of thing. You'll tape around the wrist so there's no split in the fabric, there's no split in the material.
Hmm.
That is a weird measure of authenticities if you see stuff taped. Because that is very real.
Tape done right.
Yeah, like just fucking roll of duct tape, go ape shit. Yeah. Totally legit.
Well, next up, something that I'm going to go apeshit on are silencers don't make it silent.
No.
It's still very fucking loud. It's a lot quieter.
I think I'm gonna double check something for you. Keep talking.
So it's akin to, it's not like you're muting a YouTube tab. It's like you're putting in earplugs at a heavy metal concert. It's still very fucking loud. You can still hear everything just fine. You're not going to have ear problems. They're definitely going to help in that regard, but they are not quiet. They are quieter.
So I looked up a rough estimate. So a silencer can reduce the sound of a gunshot by 20 to 35 decibels. So even if you're doing 30 decibels, if you're going from 130 decibels to 100, that's still like construction.
100 decibel examples. So here are some examples of noises that reach around 100 decibels. Motorcycles, rock concerts, power tools, jackhammers, and car horns. You know, the things that people still wear ear protection for.
Yeah. It's sure as shit ain't subtle.
Yeah, it's not, what was that? It's, oh, fuck. Like, people aren't hearing you like blocks away like they would with a gunshot, but they're hearing you a block away. They're damn sure hearing you. You're going to hear better then like reducing 30 decibels is not nothing. That's what most earplugs do, I think.
Something
I
like that, yeah.
I think I bought, they're not high, they're like over the counter earplugs and like meant to be thrown away, but I think they're 35 decibels and they're like pretty darn good. But
Yeah.
that's still, that's all it's
Yeah.
gonna do. So the maximum recommended exposure time for 100 decibels is 15 minutes. It can cause, if over 15 minutes, it would cause hearing loss. So
Yeah.
like, yeah, take that into account. Quieter, it does not make it silent. By
Yeah.
no means. It is not that.
Yeah.
It's not that shit.
Eh,
Tell my brother I love him.
I know.
All right. Before we go down that rabbit hole,
If you
what do
know, you
you
know.
what do you got next?
Speaking of things that do matter, weight classes. As somebody who has spent a decent amount of time fighting people, weight classes fucking matter.
But
They
what
are
if
not
I'm like so much better than him?
good for you. Like they're listen. I don't give a fuck. Like they're now there is some merit to like technique beats size. Sure. However, um, ask anybody who does wrestling if they want to fight up 50 pounds. They will look at you like you are insane. Ask anybody who does boxing if they want to fight up 3 weight classes. They will look at you like you're wearing a horse's head. Like they'll look at you like you're fucking psychotic. The amount that matters is pretty big. Cause like just size alone means you can have more muscle. It means you can have more height. It means you could have so much other stuff.
Means
And
your hands are like, your
means
punches are
you
likely to hit heavier.
I mean, yeah, just by default, because you have more meat on your fucking body. Like it's if you weigh 100 pounds, you could be the greatest fucking kung fu fighter ever. I don't give a shit. Like, if you have some big 230-pound meathead just bear hug you, that's really hard to get out of. I don't give a shit how good your technique is. He's huge. You aren't. You're gonna struggle. Like, just if he pushes on you, physics is gonna be a bitch and say, surprise, surprise, he could exert a lot more force than you. Like, there's just, even if he's a big fat dude, he's probably stronger than you fucking think. Also,
it's a
weird.
good thing you're not a real big fat guy.
This would be really difficult. Also, I'm going to inject a small note here. There's also the thing of like men against women. Average man versus average woman, the man is twice as strong.
We're just
Just
talking, just
it,
regardless of weight,
uh, if you go
or
like
is the weight
approximately, like,
kind of come to this?
if you go like because the problem is the average male is bigger.
Yeah.
So like if you go strict average, because the average male is like 5'8", the average woman is like 5'4". If you just go average v average, the guy's twice as strong. Like there are a lot of people. Like I'm not gonna dunk on women. The hardest person I've ever been kicked by was a woman. She kicked me across the room. Holy shit, Katrina Sanders scares the fuck out of me. I don't think that's her last name anymore. Anyways, that woman is terrifying. Nicest lady ever. But it's completely besides the point. She's an outlier, not the rule. But if you go average v average, the guy is twice as strong.
Yeah.
Just because testosterone is basically a steroid.
I mean, it's also, this is something, brief aside, that it's been really cool, and anybody you hear talking about it that's saying the opposite usually isn't in the know, and they are in the activism sphere, which God bless them. But
Like
when you look at the people that are talking about it that do know, like for instance, there was a discussion about tennis becoming multi-sex instead of being men's tennis, women's tennis.
sure,
And I'm trying to remember which uh I I think it was Serena. Like, so
the biggest name in tennis.
biggest name in women's tennis. So
I might argue tennis. I don't know a single male tennis player.
that's valid. Yeah, she's up there for sure. So there was a comment by a past tennis pro who was
Mhm.
like, they were talking about men's, women's, and men. That why do I keep saying men's, women's, men's tennis, women's tennis, and compiling the two. He's like, yeah, that's. I mean, you can, but no woman's ever going to win again. They're like, what are you talking about? What about Serena Williams? He goes, I love Serena. She's amazing. She's the best female tennis player. And they're like, why do you keep saying female? It's like because she's going to lose to the like 100th ranked guy. Like, it's not saying that as shade. And when she got asked about it, she's like, look, if I played Andrew Murray, who was like the most recent Wimbledon winner or something at the time,
Mm.
she's like, I would lose 06, 06, 06. It wouldn't be close. These are different games. You know, I'm not throwing shade at my sport, but like, it's just a different game. It is way more physical, this and that. And like Morty points, it's like, yeah, they're different.
Yeah.
We are both human species, but we're like vastly different in certain
Yeah.
biological categories, and that's like one of them. The other one is I'm trying to remember who it was. It was a female professional athlete, and she was talking about the difference between men and women, and like not fighting sports, but like if she's like, it was a very weird conversation, but I appreciate her perspective. She's like, look, I lost my husband, I trust him, this would never happen. But if we got in a fight and he decided to, like, we're having like a physical altercation and he decided he wanted me dead, there is near nothing I could do to stop him. And she's like somebody that is like, looking at her, you're like, nothing? It's like nothing. And she's the athlete, and I believe her husband is either a retired athlete or not an athlete. And she is like in her prime, and she's like, yeah, it's like he would just kill me.
Yeah. Like,
sucks. It's sad. That's the reason.
Testosterone is a hell of a drug. Like it
Yeah.
really is. It's basically you're on anabolic steroids.
Yeah.
Like it just is. Like I again, I've had my ass whooped by women. However,
Yeah.
like spade is what it is. Sorry to say it.
And I mean, this goes, while we're still
Yeah,
on this tangent, this goes to why it is correct, sadly, for women to have to be as careful as they are. If guys out there are like, oh, I don't get it. Why didn't you want to go to a second date with me? Why didn't you feel comfortable? It's because all of this,
Yeah.
like going on a date is like the scariest thing a woman can do. Understand and respect that given these parameters.
Also,
And
women
like
invest
have
in a
some
taser,
empathy.
buy mace.
Yeah. Well, no, but I'm more speaking to the guys out there of just like,
Yeah.
understand why they feel this way. Understand like it's you and it's not you in these circumstances. You're like, yeah, I don't want to go on a date anymore. I don't feel safe. And you're like, well, I don't know. I'm being so nice. Like, yeah, but you're also the most likely thing in the world to kill them or to do them harm.
Yeah.
Be aware of like what you are in relation to them.
Yep.
As much as it does suck and feels weird. Been there, it sucks, but also understand that it really sucks for them too. All right. TED Talk over. How long does it take to die?
Wow, this got philosophical.
So often in movies, especially action, but even in dramas, somebody will get shot and then within like a second, they're gone. No, unless it's in the head, it takes a while to bleed out.
Yeah, like
And a lot of times, that's how you die. Is like you're not getting. Sometimes they get shot through the chest, and maybe that does it quicker than I don't.
if you hit like heart, it's pretty fast. But like if you hit gut shot, hours.
Yeah, like you last way longer than you think. It's up there with fires being completely out. Like it's way longer than you think. If you, for instance, this is again tangent. There was a mountain climber up in some obscure, very snowy area, makes a fire to like stay warm in this absurd cold, covers it with snow, leaves, goes hiking, ends up through a weird series of events, ends up back at the same campsite days later. And the reason he knows that is because the embers are still going and he's able to recreate that fire. Fire doesn't go out nearly as easily, like truly out, like gone forever out. It takes so much more than you think it does, given most circumstances. And same thing with the light of a human being. Like my partner was saying here, gut shot, hours, sometimes upper chest. If it misses, like if it hits the right thing, you're gone.
Yeah.
But like a shocking amount of things, like if it doesn't hit directly into in certain parts of your heart and it doesn't hit your head, the likelihood that you're going to be like, no, like there's so few movies where a guy gets shot and then it's like, oh, no, they're always like, oh. Just like fucking sandbags, just fucking done. It's not the way it works. Takes a lot. It takes a shocking amount of time. The amount of time that people have, especially with the medical advancements we have, where people have gotten shot multiple times, left, and then gotten picked up and like resuscitated and taken care of, is fucking insane.
Yeah.
To a lesser degree, and this has to probably to do with how good they were at it and the tools they were using. Forever ago, this is horrifying, so buckle up. A prison guard was shanked around 200 times.
It's a lot of shanks.
Was taken, like, left for dead, and then a fellow guard walked by, saw him, was like, Teddy! And then got him on a crash cart, got him to the in-unit hospital, survived. Fully functioning, like he's not, like, your body can take a shocking amount of abuse as long as certain areas are left untouched. And if you get current medical treatment, like, you can survive a shocking amount.
Yeah.
This isn't an excuse to go try it at home or anything, but
yeah, don't recommend stress testing it, but like when push comes to shove, you are weirdly durable in certain situations.
And then others, you
Other,
you bonk your head wrong.
times,
There's a reason
House of
they have
Cards.
helmets, and like there's a reason so many things require helmets and very few require body pads.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you're like your ribs honestly do a hell of a job. It's kind of impressive how much they shield your shit from. All right. I have to make the one not safe for work entry on this list. There's a weird amount of movies that really love this idea of fucking up against a wall.
And also, usually one party's holding the other.
Yeah, like, okay. First things first. People are heavy. Just holding 140-pound of people. Because people are not uniform. So
Yeah.
holding a person is awkward. It's not a fucking barbell. It's not just a casual bench press. Now you gotta hold a fucking thing. That's moving, by the way. It's not just sitting perfectly still. So there's that. Complication A. Complication B. You have to elevate them. Okay, that's annoying. Complication C. I hope your dick is bent right. My brother in Christ, if it looks towards the floor, this got harder. Like, that's problem C. Problem D, they do it effortlessly. Bro, if you're holding a person and trying to get the thrust required, you're getting a workout at the very least. Like, your face should just be bloodshot and you should be like
the least sexy thing.
Yeah, like your body is seeing combat right now. Like, in no way do you finish in casually. You finish in collapse. Like, you're done. You're tapping out. You are cake. There is no round two. There is give me a Gatorade, like, and a power bar. You're done. And they show the worst case is they show like nerds who are supposed to be inexperienced or like virgins, and I'm like, dude, porn stars don't do this. Like, and it's their
Not for
job.
long.
Like, bro, you are not just sight reading this. Ain't no way. The way this would go is you'd try it and it'd be awkward, and they would the lady would stop you before you embarrass yourself further. She'd be like, "How about we just get on the bed like normal people?" like it would just be like 5 minutes of awkward preamble and just like, I don't think I can make this work. Like, no, you can't just no. That is challenger tier sex and it would destroy you. If you're a nerd, you would collapse. You would have a coronary. No.
It's like the decathlon of sex.
Yeah.
If you can do it, you're aware you can do it. If you're not aware, you can't do it and you should not try.
Yeah, if you have to ask how, don't. Like, if any part of you questions, don't. Like, ain't no way.
All right, my last entry on this is, hold on. This is not what hacking sounds like.
I can't wait to see the string of gibberish you're typing.
It's not fucking DDR for your fucking fingers. When people hack, they do their homework. They come prepared. They do it ahead of time. They have that program written on a thumb drive, on a a fucking Nokia cell phone. They've got it. They've got tools. They don't have they're not doing a stenographer's championship bout. They fucking
Oh god! Holy fuck, the metaphors are strong with this one. God.
they're coming up and they're just they're like tapping your phone with a reader. They're doing a this, doing that, but it's all been pre-written, and there's some of it they're figuring out now. That I think in Ocean's 8, the character talks about, oh, I've got a thing for that, and it was pre-done, and I really appreciate that. But so much, especially if you go to the 90s. Oh my god, the 90s. They're just like, ah! Just running with their fingertips.
Just 100. Also, anecdotally, Eli does he writes code. That's one of the things he does. It's part of his job, and he doesn't type at 1,000 miles an hour. It's pretty methodical and slow because one messed up keystroke and your line of code does nothing.
Yep. No, the people that are the only people that type that fast are data not data analysts. What is it called?
Data entry.
Data entry. People that work in data entry are the only people that type that fast, because their job, they're trying to get as many workman's hours before fucking AI takes their occupation, really, because that shit's coming for them fast. Yep. But that's the only one where that and stenographers are the only ones that are words per minute matter. Hacking and data, I mean, coding is hacking from a different angle, or hacking is coding from a different angle, whichever.
Yeah.
But you're not fucking running the a 2-minute mile without leaving your desk. That's not what this is. Stop it.
Also, fun note, because I've gotten some insight into the world of hacking. You know what most hacking actually consists of at this point? Social engineering. So there's what you'll do is you'll basically buy code from somebody. Most people do not write their own code. They will just literally pay for a string of code.
Okay.
And they'll put it on a flash drive or something. But then they'll just walk into buildings and she'll be like, "Oh, hey, I'm here to help update your firewall." And people are like, "Oh, sweet, thanks."
Yeah.
You just walk in with a clipboard, you own the place, you're supposed to be there, and people just don't question it.
Yep.
And you could just kind of get what you want and walk away. That is most hacking, is just social engineering. And it's just presenting like you're supposed to, and walking in the front door, and taking all the data you want, and leaving.
Yep.
And that's it. That's most hacking now. There are
the Emperor has no clothes. It's just
yeah. Yeah, but there's of all people who are hackers, quote unquote, 1% of them are code monkeys who are writing specific scripts to do stuff.
Yep. And re-engineering objects and this and that.
But that's it's such an infinitesimal percentage of people who are doing that. All right, our last one on this, because we have to hit action movies one last time. When a firefight starts and you flip the couch for cover, my brother in Christ, unless your couch is lined with Kevlar, goose feather, and cushion, don't stop bullets.
What?
I don't know if you're aware of this, but bullets go through soft things. And fucking the balsa wood that your cheap ass couch is made of ain't
your IKEA nook isn't gonna stop.
Your IKEA living room is going to be in shambles. Drywall ain't stopping nothing. There's just, if you get a really thick wooden table, maybe. Like if it's like
if it's a Hitler bomb desk.
yeah, like if you've got a big fucking oak table, like okay, that's stopping some low caliber bullets for sure. Like it's not stopping a slug, but you're not usually getting bombarded by someone with like slugs. Okay, fine. But like that's kind of it. That's the only implement of furniture that I'm like, okay, that one works. But like just some fucking thin ass table, no, that's splinters. A couch, you're dead. Like also, the people have object permanence. Like they're shooting it. They can see where you went. They can just start riddling the couch. Like the rest of the room gets shot up, and I'm like, where are you firing? Like, assuming you can aim, that this is your job. This is like a professional kind of hit on somebody. Like, you can at least hit a couch. Listen, I'm not a good shot. I'm really not. I am probably a little below average. But I'm pretty sure if I'm just shooting 30 yards, I could just hit a couch. I'm pretty confident I can do that on repeat. How do you miss? How are you shooting the roof? Like, what are you doing?
How'd you miss? He was 3 feet in
In
front of
front
you.
of you. Yeah, like so just the idea that you could use any piece of furniture as cover and as bullet protection is ridiculous. It's so dumb. Your couch is not lined with Kevlar, it isn't lined with lead. It's not taking one for the team. It's not going to get down Mr. President for you. Stop it. Get some help.
And that is our tropes and movies that don't actually ever happen in real life.
Not at all.
And now it's an ad break. See you in a minute.
Do you wish that you could engage in reckless acts of wanton violence? Do you wish that you had the confidence and constitution of a Navy SEAL? Do you wish that criminal liability was wildly subjective? If those ring true, action movies might just be for you. With plenty of morally questionable motives and plots that sacrifice substance for style and explosions, action movies appeal to those basal urges that make us want to make things go boom. So what are you waiting for, killer? The day isn't going to save itself.
Welcome back, everybody.
Well, hi there.
So, I mentioned it earlier, but I have started reading Fearholt, The Brotherhood of Ashes. It is by my friend, and it is under the pen name Z.K. Loria. I know. Yeah, I'm sorry for listening. I'm ratting you out. Um, yeah, I'm about a quarter of the way through it. I'm enjoying it. It is not doing the cardinal sin of being boring. Thank God. I don't want to say too much about spoiling. It has some kind of fun reveals, but characters are good so far. The magic system is pretty good. It feels a little inspired by kind of alchemy from Fullmetal Alchemist a little bit. It their clear affinity for Berserk is on display. Um,
I was gonna ask about that.
yeah, no, that cover art absolutely is a reference to the Berserker armor,
Yeah.
and like one of the characters basically wears a set of it. Um, they don't use an oversized sword, I don't think, which makes me sad. But but yeah, and so it's cool. It's great. I'm having a good time with it. What about you?
So, sorry, go ahead.
As I'm just asking, what about you? What have you been imbibing in?
I I'm a basic bitch. I love me a good schlocky quasi feel good. These are the good guys. These are the bad guys. Let's have some self doubt occasionally. And the
Okay.
Rookie does that for me.
Okay.
It does that appallingly well. It's
Okay.
so mediocre, but I fucking love it. Nathan Fillion is my daddy. Uh, can't get enough. He's great. Love him forever. I do both want to meet him for lunch and never meet him in person, so he can't let me down. It's just so good. It's so medium. It's so unbelievable. Complete nonsense. Definitely not true. Has some good feel good moments. Decent comedy. It's just that right amount of turn it on and semi pay attention with these like good over the top characters. It's fun. It's bad. I like it. Check it out if you need something low rent as fuck. and you don't mind watching cops pretend to be good guys. Because some of them occasionally are, but like almost all the ones in this show are good guys, with the
Still a
occasional
little
like
bit misrepresentative.
great. Yeah, it's a bit. It lives in a fairy tale optimistic land, which I kind of like having exist, so I don't have to like deal with the shit one we often live in more frequently than I'd like to realize. So it's kind of nice, and I do think that like in theory, when done correctly, policing is a net positive for society. I am of that opinion. I definitely understand that ours is quite frequently not that,
Yeah.
if not overwhelmingly not that. I haven't been exposed. I'm a fucking white guy in the United States. I haven't had to experience shit. So I don't know about that. And so this one's a easy watch for me. If you have trouble with police being good guys, do not watch this show. If you like good television, probably don't watch the show either. It's not good. It's just fun as shit.
Fair enough.
If you're like about cops or procedurals and or love Nathan Fillion, give it a look see. It's fun. So Ben, I feel like you've been listening to a song recently. Been
I
making your
have.
ears perk up.
So a trailer came out for the official trailer came out for the second season of Arcane. Heavy breathing. And
It's so hard to do like quick respiratory.
it's hard to be a dog.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. But it got me very excited. Also, the song that was released with it was it isn't even out, and its soundtrack is already awesome. Ash Nico made a song for it called "Paint the Town Blue," which, thinking about it, very much fits for Ash Nico. She's basically like a human equivalent of Jinx. It kind of tracks, and damn, the song gets me fucking amped. Like there are very few songs that make me feel like I want to walk into a cage to it, and this is definitely one of them. Like that song inspires violence. It's not good. It's great.
Song inspires violence.
Listen to it. You'll know. Like, to be fair, most of Ash Nico's shit is aggressive as fuck. So it is on brand with that, but violence must hit.
All right. Well, before I get hit, I'm gonna recommend something, mildly violent as well. Green Day's "Bang Bang" is just exactly what you want from a "I'm trying to be hard" alternative band from the 2000s. It's great. It's trying to bat a little bit above its station, but its station is pretty good. So if you like some good old alternative's not quite, it's somewhere between alternative and boy band. Bang Bang by Green Day is kind of awesome. Slaps if you want to feel that 2000s like hard tween boy strumming, give it a listen. Or if you want to know all the references we talk about, you should check out Game Grumps on YouTube. Just realizing the amount of times that we're like out here just
letting
quoting
I'm the video game boy.
I'm the one who wins. This game's for babies. I play Call of Duty Shoot a Man.
Jennifer dumped me.
It's the shortest, saddest sentence
Story
ever.
yet.
Anyway,
it's been nothing but the death of you.
Purple plant, blue plant, red plant. All right, before we end up too far down that rabbit hole,
I've got to stop myself a bit. I just wanted to yell, "Oh, microphone!" Higgledy fucking piggledy! All right. I'm done.
Quick,
sorry.
Before he decides to rattle off some more, what is our quip off of the day going to be today, my bro Skinkowski?
It's going to be Dan Harmon masterpiece Community.
Community. All right, I'm putting 2 minutes on the clock. 6 seasons in a movie.
I discovered at a very early age, if I talked long enough, I could make anything right or wrong. So either I'm God or the truth is relative. Either way, booyah. Oh, like you're famous for your wit.
Don't eat the crab dip. Yay, yay!
Don't talk to me about romance. I once had a three-way in a hot air balloon.
Announcement number 2. Butt soup.
Cool.
Kettle corn. That's a fun time snack.
Hey, I need help reacting to something.
Pop, pop.
Oh my god, I'm finally popular enough to be in the yearbook.
Streets ahead is verbal wildfire.
Put in a letter, Jane Austen.
I'm Dr. Doogie Seacrest. I think I'm better than everyone else because I'm 40.
Webster's dictionary defines it's the Jim Belushi of speech openings.
Do they find thoughts in your butts?
He was horny, so he dropped him. Man is evil.
A lifetime of disappointment has given me douche ray vision.
It was awesome, but also it wasn't.
If I come over there, there's going to be 2 sounds. Me hitting you twice.
If it was cool to eat God, he'd be a chicken finger.
9/11 was pretty much the 9/11 of the falafel market.
I think it's my hearing timer.
Yeah, go.
Okay.
Last one.
There's a time and a place for subtlety, and that time was before a scary movie.
A passing grade? Like a C? Why don't I just get pregnant at a bus station? Sorry, I had to do one Addie Anderson one. So good. Oh.
I forgot about the one from Britta. Why are you dressed like an 80s rapist?
Well, that's our episode. So thank you for tuning in. And if you enjoyed this, please feel free to
Like,
comment,
share,
and subscribe.
but don't forget, new episodes of Super Prose Bros come out the first and third Saturday of every month.
Bye!